Alright guys, looks like we will start off here and we might have a few people join us as we go. So yeah, welcome everyone. Today we are first I should introduce myself. So my name is Liam Monday and I work as a part of the Mātātupu recruitment team. And yeah, luckily today I'm joined by Alexandra Carroll and Brent Dunn. So two members of our 2016 cohort who completed the program a couple of years ago. And yeah, awesome to have you guys. Thank you so much. We're also really lucky to be out at Brent's school that he's currently teaching at Mission Heights Junior College. Yeah. So you might hear a few kids in the background. So yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, today's going to be about an opportunity for everyone to ask questions. So we have a few questions that have been sent through ahead of time, which we'll answer first of all. But if there's any questions that you guys have along the way, please feel free to chuck these in the chat, and they'll pop up on our screen, and we'll answer them as we go. So if you're looking for the chat as well, you'll see if you click down the bottom of your screen, there is a chat button which will bring it up, and you'll see a little message from me there. So I guess we can jump into the first couple of questions. But actually, let's do a few introductions first of all. So yeah, do you guys want to introduce yourself, maybe what subjects you've taught, and then what you're up to now? Yeah.
Kia ora, my name is Alexandra Carroll, as Liam said. I was in C16 along with Brent. During my time on the program, I taught English at De La Salle College, which is in Māngere. Now then I moved on to Mount Ross School Grammar, teaching English there, and now I'm on study leave actually, doing some more study in New Zealand history, which is really exciting, and also doing a bit of part-time work for Mātātupu, which has been great. Yeah.
Oh, kia ora whānau, ko ai au e tūnei, ko Brent Dunn tōku ingoa, ngō Ngāpuhi I hope. Kia ora whānau, right next to my little sis over here. We're a part of C16. When I was on the program, I was teaching at Tamaki College, teaching Te Reo Māori, and also doing Māori art for Kairo, just sort of the basic level for our kids. Currently at this stage, I'm at Mission Heights Junior College, teaching Te Reo Māori, and also teaching art. So I'm doing not just Māori art, but also art itself. So it's quite an interesting journey right now. Yeah.
Awesome. Kia ora. So the first question that we have here is, so why did you join the program?
My one was quite an interesting journey. I was working at Mātātupu College as a hostel parent, and from there I had finished up, and my wife actually introduced me to this opportunity, and I was a bit hesitant because she was an ex-teacher, and she just said to me that you have a great way of creating a relationship with kids, and they just seem to attract you like a magnet. So why not get into teaching? And I was like, because I didn't want the stress. I saw what you went through, but I did think about it, and I thought, yeah, what the hell, give it a go. And yeah, it was just a great opportunity, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I would at first, but now love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess I have quite a different narrative, where I was very much the graduate, finished my honours degree in New Zealand history, and then wanted something that was a little bit more hands-on. I guess I was maybe a little bit over the book study, and looking for something that was maybe had that social justice sort of lens. And Teach First NZ appeared. I think I went to like a session at the uni where they had pizza. Wonderful. And it just kind of really spoke to that passion that I developed at uni for matters of social justice and providing voice to the voiceless. So I applied, and here we are.
Awesome, awesome. So the next question that I have for you guys is, what did you gain from your first year in teaching or on the program?
I'll be honest, surviving. Nah, it was, I was out of my depth. I felt I was out of my depth. This was outside of the box for me. Educational-wise, being in front of kids, that wasn't the issue. It was, I struggled on the educational side. But I think with great friends that were constantly in my ear and the great support from Teach First NZ, it was just, life was easy. And you could see what Teach First was about, what we were trying to do, and creating a voice for the voiceless. I like that. And you could see the hard work that we put in and then putting on to our kids. I think that's rewarding in its own. So that's what I got out of it, was kids being able to say how they feel and then express it as well. So we were creating opportunities. So I liked it.
Oh, it's a hard one. It's an incredible, as Brenton said, it's an incredibly challenging pathway into teaching, as I'm sure you can imagine. It requires a whole lot of resilience, and I think maybe that's what I gained is knowing that, kind of similar to Brent, I guess, is knowing that I can do it, right? Is that having that resilience somewhere stored in there somewhere. I didn't know that I could survive something like that. Man, we're not painting a very good picture out. I guess it's also really, really important to be honest about this sort of thing. By the end of my first year, just looking back and thinking, oh wow, I have learned so much about myself. I am just so much more resilient than I thought I could be.
It's really reshaped me as a man. And not just a man, but also as someone that is, it's really made me think about who I am in Aotearoa, in New Zealand, and what I have to give. This is what Teach First NZ has done. Has really made me reflect on my Māoritanga, myself as a person in Aotearoa, as a citizen in Aotearoa, and what am I trying to project and help our tauira, our students, to understand that the tools that you have are important for your future. So we've painted started painting the picture pretty bad for Teach First and how hard it is, but really, honestly, it's made me reflect in the first year is that, one, I can do it, two, opportunities are there, and three, you can see the change. When you're working with your students in front of you, and the way they think, the way they act changes. So it's great.
Yeah. So both of you have talked a little bit about, the transformation that you go on in your first year of teaching, and the massive amount of learning that takes place. So I'm interested in kind of, I guess, who were the main support people for you guys in that period of time? Who were the people that were, the people to go to in that time where you're like, oh man, this is really tough, or I don't know how to approach this situation, or I don't know how to do this.
I mean, really good question, and I think it's such a important part to remember, right? So we talk about the self-transformation, but actually I think that was made possible by just the incredible support network that is just wrapped around us. So from your in-school mentor, so when you're on the program, you have someone in your school who is considered, I guess, a bit of an expert. They are given a 4-hour-a-week allowance for you. That for me was just incredible, being able to go to my mentor who had the most amazing advice and just really knew what I was going through and knew how to answer the questions in a way that wasn't, I guess, essentially giving me the answer, but prompting me to do some more learning about myself and also my learners. Mentors one. What else do you think?
Oh, all our leaders that helped us at Teach First themselves. You know, they do the visits at least 2 to 3 times during the term. And it's just a come in, have a coffee and a catch up. That alone there for me was exactly what I needed. It was a rejuvenation of, oh yeah, I am doing the right thing. And you're thinking, because you're going to have times where you're thinking, am I doing it right? And the mentor, and you got mentor as well. Plus you got the people in the school, the teachers that are supportive as well. And then you've got your subject supporters as well. You know, they come in and they assess you, but they can also be there, whether it's phone call, an email, or just yet again show up with a cup of tea and biscuits and have a feed and catch up. Just so there's heaps of them. You're fully supported from the moment you start to right to the end. So
and I guess interestingly, sitting here with Brent reminds me also that the biggest part is your cohort, and that's what SCI gives you. So that summer initial intensive process, I'm sure most of you know already about that, or if you don't, we can talk about that later. But yeah, so those first 9 weeks, getting to know yourself as a teacher, but also making these amazing connections. There are, I mean, in our case, there were 18 of us, so 17 other people around Auckland who I could email or call or whatever and just say, how are you doing? This is what's going on for me. So yeah, I think that that's such an important part.
And it's not even catching up about work, it's just catching up. You know, and it's great to just go, you know, talking about work. You're just catching up to say, hey, how are you going? What's happening in your world? You know?
Such a family.
Yeah. And that's what you create. You create whānau on this program, and it's long life whānau. I think we haven't seen each other in about a year, eh?
Yeah.
But it's like we'd be sitting there talking like we were just talking to each other yesterday. So that's what I mean by long life family members, whānau, friends, forever. It doesn't matter.
Big time.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, guys. So I've just seen a couple questions coming through on the chat. Feel free to keep asking those questions, and then there's a couple more here, and then we'll jump onto those ones. So the next question that we have here, so in the second year of the program, you complete a leadership project, and this leadership project's about creating sustainable change within your community and within your school. So yeah, the question here is, what was your leadership program? Leadership project, sorry.
I'm trying to remember mine.
So I was lucky enough to in both of my years on the program have a year 13 English class. In my second year, I noticed midway through, maybe about halfway through term 2, that my class really weren't achieving in the way that they maybe should, and actually that the credits on offer weren't going to get them through. And so one thing that I did as my leadership project, I established an idea called like a period 0 tutorial, where my year 13s would come in, and actually it turned into a lot of year 13s across the school. Would come in period 0, so before school, and we'd have some breakfast, and we'd do a novel study, and that was sort of a way to get them a few more credits. For a lot of them, that really sort of meant that they could cross that line, which was amazing for them. I guess leadership projects are interesting because in our cohort there were so many different kinds and extracurricular focus, but yeah, for me, I guess I just really had seen that gap in their learning, and being able to sort of do something about that was pretty amazing. What about you?
My one was a total flip on its head, really. Mine one was actually, I had about 40 boys come to me in the marae, and they would just say, Matua, we hate not being the only school that doesn't have a school hustle. So I decided to create a leadership where I taught 40 boys the understanding of the importance of haka, and that what you're doing is something of a legacy you're going to create. So they had to research it, we had to work together and write it. and then they had to end up teaching the whole school. So it went from them being the learner to becoming the teacher. And for myself, I was the teacher and then sitting back being the learner. So that was my leadership program. Pretty successful for our kids because they ended up using that haka all the time now, and they used it for their rugby team, for their finals, and first ever time they've ever had one. So I'm hoping they're still using it, so it's still there. And so yeah, leadership, creating legacy, creating leaders, and and then myself, the teacher, becoming the student. So really, so really cool.
That's really cool. That's very, very cool. So I have one more question, and then we'll jump onto these ones. So now that you've finished the program, how are you working towards the Ako Mātātupu vision as part of the Kairapu network?
Good question. So once I'd finished the program, so as I said, I worked at De La Salle College. I then, moved on to Mount Roskill Grammar, who's actually also a partner school of ours, and so was able to connect more with other Teach First teachers in the school there. But to be honest, I think it took me a while to reconnect, as Liam would attest to. I think I needed a little bit of space, and that's something that Ako Mātātupu is actually really accepting of. I think knowing that the program is intense, and so although it is awesome to connect with the Kairapu network, it's also important to look after yourself and have a bit of a breather. And so once I finished last year at Roskill, I knew that I was coming on to study leave, so approached Teach First to actually ask if there was any work that I could be doing. And now I'm maybe have spoken to a few of you working in cultivation. So just making calls and having cool chats with people who are thinking about either changing their career into teaching or graduating like I did and moving into the teaching space. And I guess in a way, contributing to the Kairapu network in that way, making it bigger essentially, which is so exciting.
It was a bit hard for me because after Tamaki College I finished up there, there wasn't actually a job available, which was, I was a bit sad. But this opportunity came along, and I actually wasn't even looking. They came looking for me. They saw an opportunity out this way. May not be this or one school, but I still saw an opportunity out here of a new school wanting to know tikanga, understand Māori in general and the culture in the tikanga. So I think what's created from there, what's happened from there, literally, is that I've had way more engagement of whānau and also new teachers or teacher aides really, that haven't quite got the qualifications but don't know where to go. So, I get a lot of questions, or especially a lot of visitors up this way to asking the question, where did you go? What did you do? And I just said, and then I told them. And, so I'm getting the message out there. There is an opportunity. It's not all doom and gloom. There is an opportunity to really get in there if you're really passionate about it. I've been quietly working in the background, helping our, especially our Māori, our new Māori cohort over the last maybe year or so, just finding some support space for them where I can and be open ear, FB. But and helping the old brother Charles there, who's taken on the rangatira status. So so it's been good with them.
Very cool. All right, so let's jump into the questions that you guys have been asking. So first one here we have from Steve. So Steve's based in Christchurch, and he's looking at going to the Graduate College of Education or doing the Teach First program. And his question is, why would I apply with Teach First NZ and not the Graduate College
Oh, it's hard. I don't know anything about the alternative. Obviously, know lots about this option. I think the employment-based model that Ako Mātātupu, their program provides, I guess, is really acknowledges teaching as a skill that is so entirely practical and people-based, and so dependent on your ability to form relationships. And yeah, acknowledges that and has just created this model around it. And I guess that I feel
No, you're right. I'm just going off what my mates just said. I think for myself, not being a big educational person, being able to learn something and actually put it to work and try it, I think a part of Teach First NZ on the work-based thing, it's valuable. It's invaluable, whatever you want to call it. I'm useless at English, that's why I'm not English. But it's so valuable to be able to go learn something and then within the next week you're in class actually trying it. And go, oh yep, that worked. Keep that one in your bag, or oh no, that didn't work. Need to change it a bit. So I think for being on this program to be able to learn something and then give it a go instead of, I don't know what college education's like, but I don't know if it's a work-based thing, but I feel for me, I'm a bit of a practical person. Learn it, get in there.
Yeah, I completely agree, and that's not to say that theory of education isn't important, because it really is, and there's such a big place for that in our program. I mean, the Mind Lab is amazing, and learning all of those things is so valuable, absolutely. But as Brent's saying, being able to then turn around and really quickly put that into practice and think, oh wow, that's what that means in the context of my classroom and with my learners is just such a valuable way of learning. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. So the next question we have here is, hi, I am very excited to apply for your program. I've been teaching English in Ukraine. Awesome. As a second language to non-speakers. Oh, she's been teaching English to a second language to non-speakers of English. And have a master's degree in it. So do you think it will be easy for me to enter the program? I decided I'd like to follow the teaching path in New Zealand.
Wow.
I'm not sure. Are they asking if it's
Easy for them to apply
because of English?
I think more, does that kind of pathway make sense?
Yeah. Previous experience in teaching.
Yeah.
Big time. I mean, I had zero experience in teaching, and had to learn very, very quickly. But I know that people in our cohort, people in the cohorts around us, came into the program with a wealth of understanding and knowledge of what it is to be a teacher and be in that space. So yeah, I think that would really infuse your experience with incredible knowledge and understanding. We really do encourage people who have previous teaching experience to get involved. I guess it's a bit difficult because we do have that eligibility criteria where you can't already have a teaching qualification in New Zealand. So that does sort of stop a lot of people applying. But if you don't have one of those, then absolutely that's a wonderful pathway.
I know. I agree.
We've got to follow up on that. So I mean, my chances of getting into the program. So I could probably answer that one, give a as I work for as Ellie said, though, we really value people that come with experience. In particular, experience in serving young people doesn't necessarily have to be teaching, but how have you served the young people in front of them and provided them opportunities to grow and learn. So we really look for that in both our application form, the interview process, and at our call centres, our assessment centres.
Can I answer Lambert M question?
Sure, yeah. So
I like that one.
The next question that we have, so kia ora, thanks for the info so far. Following on from Steve, which was the first question, finishing the program, how do you feel you differ from someone who goes through a traditional route?
I get this question all the time. Yeah. So, and I think Brent and I can maybe answer this question quite well because we left our initial school and once we've finished the program, moved on to another school. And so applying to Mount Ross School in my after the program, I was considered a first-year teacher because I'd just finished the program, and so I was up against other first-year teachers applying for that role, and being able to apply as a first-year teacher with 2 years of really incredible experience really set me apart from those other first-year teachers. Don't get me wrong, they're incredible in their own right, but I guess that and it gave me a lot to talk about, right, in the interview, being able to say, these are things, there's strategies that I tried in my classroom. I am really open to learning, and I guess that's something that being part of our Kairapu network really attests to is I'm really comfortable making mistakes, and I'm real I guess a lifelong learner, and something that our program really values. What would you say?
And the 2 years of experience of teaching and going into a job interview as a first year, but with 2 years experience, it really pleases the people that are interviewed, especially the principal, because then all it is just adding value to what you've already done. And there isn't too much of a big worry really. So it's being on the program, getting pretty much a head start.
Big time.
A head start into being teaching, because you are just in there. And you are learning and teaching at the same time is so valuable. It's molded me to be who I am today. Here, being able to teach. I'm teaching 8 classes of Te Reo Māori, 2 classes of art, and I'm able to balance that all out with family life. So working at Teach First NZ has been able to help me focus and do what I need to do and what I love now.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
That's awesome. Cool. So next question we have here from Omika. Kia ora, I have a degree in sport and exercise. Oh.
Yeah, no, we're right.
Are we still there? Kia ora, guys. No, it looks like we're okay.
Yep.
What happened?
I'm not too sure.
Yes.
Cool. Thanks, Stephen. Nice.
What happened?
I think it just signed out for some reason, but we're okay. We're still on the phone.
Sweet.
So a biggest question. I have a degree in sport and exercise, but am applying to be a Te Reo Māori teacher. Would that affect my chances of getting accepted?
Wow.
Why? You're like you're a magnet to have a PE background and doing Te Reo Māori. That's awesome. I was a part of the program when I applied. I had a degree in carving, no teaching experience. The only side of teaching was looking after 120 hostel kids. So teaching experience was a thing, and I had Te Reo. But and I was a degree in carving. So no, it's what you have is invaluable. And if you're a teacher, no mai haramai. More Māori teachers, the better. Love it.
Such a good question.
Yeah, very good question. So as you go through our application process, if you're applying to teach Te Reo Māori, you will go through a subject knowledge assessment. So we have Brent mentioned Charles Looker, who's our kaihotu, and he works with us and works with our Māori candidates coming through our process, and then with our participants as they're on the program as well. So you'll be able to kōrero with him, have a good chat about the program, what that's about, but also for him to give you surety on your level of Te Reo Māori and whether that would be at a level to complete the program to be a Te Reo Māori teacher. So as you're going through our application process, that happens, which gives you that clarity as to whether you'd be eligible to teach that subject. But having a degree in sport and exercise science is awesome. Having another string to your bow that you add to your school, which is awesome. So.
And I think the Te Reo, just on top of the Te Reo network within Teach First NZ, it's grown massively. So the network that you will create through there between all of us it's going to be invaluable for you fellas, especially if you're going to sign up for next year. And then,
Cool.
Amazing.
All right. So next question.
Questions are coming.
After finishing the course, can you work in high schools?
Yes.
Yes.
So once you finish the 2-year program, you will hopefully have also passed your Masters in Teaching and Education Leadership, which enables you to then move on and work in a high school. You will then be also move on to the trained teacher scale. So during your 2 years in the program, you're on the paid on the untrained teacher scale, which is essentially just because you don't have that teaching qualification yet. And then,
The BTA.
Yeah. So short answer is yes.
Cool. Next question we have here is, how long do you stay in your first school as a teacher? Once you graduate from the program, is there something like a rotation system?
Oh. There you go. I don't know that one.
So I guess it's dependent on your school. And so when you're on the program, you have a contract that lasts for the 2 years. There should be really no reason for you to be leaving your school in those 2 years. I don't know if that's ever happened, but yeah. And then it's up to the school, I guess, if they've got the space for you to then offer you a fixed term or a permanent going forward. So yeah, we both left our schools, but it's also really common for people to stay in their school that they've been in during the program. It's just, as I say, super dependent on the numbers and whether the school can do it. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of our cohort have stayed on at the same schools.
Yeah.
It was just, for me, they already had a Te Reo Māori teacher and they couldn't justify having 2 of us. So that was the only bummer. But if there was an opportunity, I would have stayed too.
Very cool. So basically, if you're successful in joining the program, we will work with you to find a suitable school position, which is a 2-year-long contract, like Alex said. And after that 2-year-long contract, the school may be in a position to offer you a full-time employment or may not. But so there is no kind of rotation system. You're in one school for the full 2 years, and then after the program, you become a qualified teacher and are able to find jobs as you please. So cool. The next question we have here is, with a master's, what advantages does that give you in the education system?
I feel like I don't know if I can answer that question.
I'll be honest, I couldn't even give you that answer without shooting myself in the foot, getting it wrong.
I guess it's quite difficult for us because we actually don't have the MTEL qualification. So when we went through the program, Teach First NZ was partnered with the University of Auckland, so we did a PG DIP. And so the latest cohort, so 2018 and 19 are studying toward the MTEL. So maybe Liam's the best person to answer.
So the advantages of having a master's, I guess, after completing the program, one of them is that what you're paid as a teacher, if you continue on in teaching, is determined by the highest level of qualification qualification that you have. So one of the advantages in having a master's degree is that you are then paid more. So you're paid two steps up the salary scale. And so, yeah, that's one of the advantages. Another advantage is that by having a master's degree, in general, just having a master's degree, you're able to prove that you can also do, a high level of study or postgraduate study. So if you're interested in doing further postgraduate study to a master's level or beyond, this qualification would be able to be used in that sense too. I think that's the two main things in terms of advantages. I guess how the program is potentially different, I might highlight that in terms of the qualifications that you receive. So we talked about the the leadership project, which you complete in your second year. So with the move to making our qualification a master's qualification, what happened is that now leadership project is included in your qualification, where it wasn't unfortunately for these guys. So that leadership project is used to push your degree level to a level 8 qualification or level 9. So that's the kind of key difference in terms of the program. So it's not actually a hell of a lot. It's more having the leadership project that you complete in your second year, accredited towards a master's degree. So it's really awesome.
Stephen, your question, so you asked, is there a job offer guarantee after the 2 years? As we said before, it's just really dependent on your school. I guess, whether they have the space to offer you an ongoing contract. But the qualifications that you will receive during your time on the program mean that you can then go, if your program school doesn't have a place for you, then you absolutely can go and work wherever you want to and apply for teaching positions all over. So, I hope that answers your question.
And there's always a need for certain subjects in certain schools. So for me, Te Reo Māori, I think the advantage of being a male as well and teaching Te Reo Māori is massive, so that's attractive to all schools. But it all depends. Depends on where you are. I think the best thing about Teach First also is that it's not just Auckland. Now it's all over New Zealand. Am I got that right? So as far as Invercargill. So the travelling's not the where isn't the issue, whereas we had to stay right here in Auckland. But there's opportunities throughout New Zealand, all over the place.
And I think what you guys said before, and having that wealth of experience from your 2 years on the program makes you really employable.
Super employable.
Yeah, and I think, could you guys comment on how many people got school positions after completing the program? Do you guys know?
Yeah, did he stay?
Yeah, he stayed at time.
Do you know what? I actually think almost all. I can't think of anyone in our cohort right now who isn't teaching right now. I think I might be the only one.
Sophie.
Oh, and Sophie. Sophie is also, of course, also working in the recruitment team for Teach First NZ.
And Max, who's tripping around all, but
he's also teaching. He's teaching in China.
What?
I know.
And see, it doesn't mean New Zealand now. We can go international.
I mean, some people, yes, have stayed in their program school, but others have moved on to other partner schools, or have. For example, 2 of the members in our cohort moved home to Wellington, and they got school teaching positions in Wellington, which has been really cool for them.
And that's more of them move closer to their family as well.
Yeah, but and I guess that's such a good example of the employability, right? So moved to Wellington, got jobs. They were fine. So yeah.
Nice. All right. So got a couple more questions, and we are close to running out of time. So if anyone has to jump off the call, feel free. You guys got an extra 5 minutes?
Yeah, really
sweet. Okay. So how much is the scholarship that you receive, and how many hours do you work on the
the scholarship part of the question.
Yeah,
Sorry?
I don't know the scholarship in the room.
I guess your qualification is paid for. And also during your time on site, the accommodation and meals, things like that is paid for. Yeah, in terms of the hours on the program, you work a 0.6 load in your first year in a school, which equates to around 12 hours a week.
Contact day.
Yeah, sorry, contact time, which means in the classroom. And then, as I said earlier, you have a mentor who has 4 hours a week for you. And then, yeah, the rest of your time, I guess, in a school is spent marking or planning or catching up with colleagues, chasing homework, things like that. Yeah, so it's quite difficult to say what the hours are like. Yeah, 0.6 of contact time, but just, yeah, lots of work outside of that.
And also in saying that, also you do have some responsibilities of attending programs for Teach First as well, and that's morely about a rejuvenation about what you've done, reflection times, and then rebuilding yourselves up and connecting up with all your mates as well about what worked, what didn't work, and then yeah, so you Teach First. Te ako Mātātupu really get in there and keep you focused and rejuvenated for the next term. So yeah, there's dedications throughout. Is it 3-4 times?
Yeah, 4 times a year. So once a year. Once a term, we come together in what we call workshops.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as Brent said, it's about reconnecting. Also doing some coursework towards your master's program. But yeah, lighting that fire or relighting that fire.
Someone has also asked about the summer initial intensive and what it looks like and what in terms of time, living and allowance. So it's a bit different to when we did the program.
Yeah.
Maybe Liam, you want to answer?
Yeah, I'll answer like the skeleton of it. The summer initial intensive is about preparing you to work in your school and be a sole charge teacher for roughly three classes from the beginning of term 1 the following year. And so that involves building whakapanaungatanga, building those connections and relationships with your cohort members who are going to be your support network throughout. It's also about getting used to the school environment. So at the moment, we actually spend 3 weeks in a boarding school, which is either in Auckland or Rotorua. And that time, yeah, as I said, is getting in the school environment, observing teachers, getting a chance to do a bit of co-teaching or team teaching, and yeah, generally kind of settling in and feeling comfortable and starting to build your, start to put things in your kitty that are going to be your tools that you're going to use in your 2 years on the program. There also is an opportunity to be sole charge teaching. So this happens in the second half of the initial intensive, and it's called what we call vaka or summer school. And that's where you're teaching, or you're sole teaching, but you also have one of your cohort members in the room as well. But yeah, so you take a class through a unit of work. So there's lots of kind of throwing you in the deep end, and then also giving you the opportunity, as Brent said, to reflect, to kind of work out what was working, what isn't working, and to have that basic level of skills that are going to keep you going from term 1. But yeah, in terms of the summer initial intensive, I guess what did you guys feel you gained from that experience? Or yeah, what are the most important reflections that you have from that time?
I think for me, going into that space, I came in with not a lot of knowledge around what I was going to be doing, but I was open from learning new things, and being open to learn from my whānau around not just the learning and educational side of it all, but being valued about what skills you do bring to the group, you know.
So many skills.
Yeah, and you know, and so it could be as little as being able to learn to connect with friends, or your tauira is the most valuable tool, and you know, and you just don't assume that everyone knows how to do it, and so yeah, I learned quite a lot at summer intensive, and like I said at the start, it's about really learning about yourself, really, and your capability. So I learned a lot just in that 8-9 weeks, you know. Then going home. Then going home back to reality, you know, and then you start missing missing your friends and realizing, you know, you got another whānau now, and so it's I learned heaps.
I just realised that I didn't answer the full question. So there's a part of the question is around like where are you living and the allowances that you receive. So allowances, so you don't get an allowance on the on over the summer English intensive, and you aren't yet paid a salary. So you start earning once you start in your school from term 1. But over the summer, that you are able to access study link student loan living allowance. So you know, for those that have rent and bills to pay, there is money that you can access through the normal means of study link. In terms of living, the summer English intensive is a live-in residential learning experience. And this is a challenge for some people. We aim to, you know, be responsive to the needs of our participants. So if anything does happen and you're needing to shoot off, or you're needing to get home to pick up the kids because no one else can on that day, then that is okay. But yeah, we work it out on a case-by-case basis. This might be a good one actually for Brent to answer. Like, how did you find? Because Brent, you know, you have a whānau and you've just let us know that your whānau has gone quite a bit. But yeah, how did you find managing the kind of home life? Over the initial intensive.
I have a very supportive wife. They understand that there is a small sacrifice of connection time, but you just make time when you can. When they realise how important this is and what you need to do, and you're clear about it, you can arrange to make sure that things are running well while you can focus on the program. And then when you get home, you know it's your turn. So I had a very supportive wife and my son as well, who poked their head in at where we were staying, which was awesome. And that's the best thing about Teach NZ is that, like I said, we're all whānau, and when whānau come in, they're all their whānau as well. So
yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, your family very much became our family.
Yeah, pretty much, you know. So they had, and my kids had family had grown bigger than usual, and everyone was getting called auntie or uncle, and so you know, it's very inviting, no matter what it is, for your not just your partners, but also your tamariki as well. So that's what it's about.
Amazing.
Very cool. All right, so that's all we kind of have time for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us online, and then thank you so much, Ali and Brent. Thank you guys so much for everything that you're doing and the change that you're making in your spaces. So thanks for joining us today. So ka kite, everyone.
See you guys.
Bye.
Ciao.